Radiant Eternatus is a brand new card which puts VMAX Pokemon directly onto your bench with its ability Climactic Gate. There are 86 VMAX Pokemon that were released between Sword and Shield base set and the last Sword and Shield set Crown Zenith, so today I have narrowed it down to the 10 best VMAX Pokemon to pair with Radiant Eternatus. I had a lot of fun making deck lists for each of these 10 VMAX Pokemon, and the links for the deck lists will be in the description down below. To be clear, I've only tested a few of these in a competitive capacity, so if you try these decks out and maybe even make them better, let me know how it goes. Number 10. Orbital Vmax. Orbital Vmax was one of my favorite cards from the early Sword and Shield sets, since its Eerie Beam ability is reminiscent of some of my favorite older cards, like Weezing from Team Up and Flygon EX from Dragon Frontiers. What's really great about Eerie Beam is you can activate multiple instances of the ability each turn, so long as you have multiple Orbitals available and can switch between them, since Orbital Vmax must be in the active position to activate Eerie Beam. Here is my sample deck list for Orbital Vmax paired with Radiant Eternatus. It features synergistic cards such as Jinx from Silver Tempest with the Psychic Assault attack, which will scale as Orbital spreads damage, Birdkeeper from Darkness Ablaze, which is good for switching between your Orbitals, and Cheryl from Battle Styles to heal your Orbital Vmaxes. Note that you can scoop up Radiant Eternatus to use it again if you have room for more Orbitals on your bench. Number 9. Shadow Rider Caliorex Vmax. Shadow Rider Caliorex Vmax was one of the best cards in standard format upon its release in Chilling Reign. Its Underworld Door ability accelerates energy and draws cards, while its attack scales as you put more psychic energies on your Pokemon. Setting up a board of 3 or 4 Shadow Rider Caliorex Vmax is incredibly powerful, and Radiant Eternatus helps you get there quite fast. Unlike the Orbital deck list, in which I completely omitted Orbital V, I will be including a couple of Shadow Rider Caliorex V in this deck, since it has 2 useful attacks and will allow us to evolve up into more Shadow Rider Caliorex Vmaxes after the initial 2 that we bench with Eternatus. I've included Mewtwo V Union since it is an incredibly powerful Pokemon if you can assemble it and quickly attach energies to it. Wordier V isn't a psychic Pokemon, so you can't attach energies to it with Calyorex's Underworld Door, but its Frontier Road ability will take care of that when you switch it into the active. Number 8. Rayquaza Vmax. Rayquaza Vmax has the Azure Pulse ability, which lets you discard your hand and draw 3 cards. The goal of this deck I've created is to set up as many Rayquazas as possible to turbo through your deck every turn, discarding a ton of energies in the process. This will create the perfect opportunity for Volcarona V to shine with its Surging Flames attack, which does 20 more damage for each basic energy in your discard pile. Surging Flames shuffles all of those energies back into your deck, so you can do it all over again next turn. Volcarona V will be the main attacker of this deck, but I've included a couple copies of Rose so you can power up Rayquaza Vmax in a pinch. You've probably noticed now that Mew is popping up in all of these deck lists, and that's because it's the best Pokemon in the standard format card pool for starting out the game and finding item cards to get this type of deck rolling. Although, we will be experimenting with some other support options as we go. Number 7 and number 6. Espeon Vmax and Deoxys Vmax. Espeon Vmax offers your Pokemon protection from effects of attacks like Yveltal's Amazing Destruction, which instantly knocks out any Pokemon, and Sableye's Lost Mine attack, which places damage counters. Deoxys Vmax mitigates 30 damage from the attacks of Pokemon V-Star, like Lugia V-Star, Arceus V-Star, and Palkia V-Star. These Pokemon could work great in succession while protecting your Pokemon in 2 different ways. I haven't built a deck list around these 2 Vmaxes since they are best used as support Pokemon, so I'll be showing you how you could slot them into a deck you already have. Let's take an Arceus V-Star deck for example. It might look like this to begin with, but what if we wanted to add Radiant Eternatus, Espeon Vmax, and Deoxys Vmax to make our deck better against Lugia V-Star decks? This is how I've drafted it up, keeping the core of an Arceus V-Star Flying Pikachu Vmax deck, and working Radiant Eternatus into it with 3 different Vmax Pokemon to choose from when you activate Climactic Gate. Number 5. Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmax. Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmax has proved itself to be a very powerful card. RS Urshifu was one of the top archetypes of 2022, winning regional and international championship level events and even online events back in 2021. I've built a deck list that has the potential to use Gmax Rapid Flow turn after turn after turn until you've knocked out everything in sight. Using a Lost Zone engine of Comfey and Colress's experiment to put cards into the Lost Zone and draw through the deck quickly, it should be easy to establish multiple Urshifus on the board turn 1 with Radiant Eternatus, and then accelerate energy to them on turn 2 using Mirage Gate. I've included a Duraludon to assist the deck in Psychic Weak matchups like Mew Vmax, but you could also consider adding Drapion V to help with that. Earth and Seal Stone is probably my favorite card in this list, since you can drop your opponent's V Pokemon all to 100 HP, and then clean them up with Gmax Rapid Flow the following turn. Number 4. Regieleki Vmax. Regieleki Vmax's Transistor ability boosts your basic Lightning Pokemon's attacks by 30 damage. If you can get all 4 Regieleki Vmax on your bench, your basic Lightning Pokemon will be dealing 120 extra damage per attack. I've chosen Vikavolt V, Raikou V, and Morpeko from Rebel Clash as the attackers in this deck. I think Morpeko using Torment for a maximum of 140 damage sounds ridiculously awesome. Vikavolt V, of course, is great for locking your opponent out of their item cards, and Raikou V can hit really hard with Regieleki Vmax boosting it. Don't forget to use Sky Seal Stone to take an extra prize card if you use Raikou, Vikavolt, or even Regieleki V to KO a V-Star or VMAX Pokemon. Number 3. Kyurem Vmax. Kyurem Vmax is a monstrous Pokemon. With 330 HP and an unlimited damage output, it also has a very good ability which can power up itself and other Pokemon. I've chosen to build this deck with 4 Empoleon V, since the Emperor's Eyes ability is very strong against any deck relying on Comfey's Flower Selecting ability, which will give this deck an advantage against many opponents using Lost Zone cards. Empoleon V can sit in the active and swing for moderate damage, while sending energy to Kyurem Vmax on the bench, ready to knock out anything in its path. Drapion V is included to help against Mew Vmax decks since they are aggressive and unaffected by Empoleon V. Number 2 and number 1, Flying Pikachu Vmax and Duraludon Vmax. Both of these Pokemon Vmax are known for their defensive capabilities. Flying Pikachu Vmax cannot be damaged by basic Pokemon after attacking, and Duraludon is immune to damage from Pokemon with special energy attached thanks to its ability. Radiant Eternatus removes one of the bad things about playing these Pokemon VMAX, which would be their basic V forms. This deck is built to slap down 2 VMAXs on turn 1, and then begin swinging on turn 2. It doesn't give your opponent a lot of time to make a plan of action for taking care of these massive Pokemon VMAX. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I can't wait to hear what you think about my deck lists for these VMAX Pokemon paired with Radiant Eternatus. Remember to subscribe to the channel and check out my links in the description, including my Discord channel and links to my sponsors, Beast Coast Pokemon, PotownStore.com, PokemonCard.io, and Dragon Shield Sleeves. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.